Welcome back to Community Connectors. Today we are in North Oklahoma City speaking with Cambry Staudt, who is the Director of Taproom Operations for Roughtail Brewing. We really think you'll appreciate this episode and all the great community events that Roughtail Brewing has been doing around the city, and I just think you're going to learn a lot from Cambry. As a reminder, Community Connectors is all about what it takes to run a successful, thriving community space in the modern era. That's, the beloved third places, your libraries, parks, museums, your coffee shops, your craft brew houses, just really things that get people off the couch and into a community and connecting with each other. So stay tuned for Community Connectors, and as always, please like and subscribe.
Alrighty, so
oh wow.
We are a 30-barrel brew house, and our tanks are massive. They hold up to 120 gallons, 90, 60, and 30. These large tanks are holding basically our big distribution beers. Everything rhymes with orange.
Okay.
And these basically are showing that every single craft beer that leaves this building that gets distributed is through us. We don't brew our beer anywhere else, which is super
cool. All brewed here.
It's all through here.
Okay, yeah.
We also brew for another brewery in Kansas. We brew for a soda company and a seltzer company as well. So we're able to help other beverage companies stay alive and successful by helping brew through them, and it's a great partnership that we have made with the company. So we're massively installed all of the tanks in here. All of the glycol white piping is a glycol chiller that we installed as well. All of these up here too help temperature control our beer and help us brew year round with it being so hot and everything like that.
Yeah.
Our brewing system is from Canada.
Okay.
It is a two-part brewing system where one is more computer automated and they can basically do everything consistently by a press of a button. And then we have a second part that is much more hands-on, where we're brewing and milling the grain and everything like that too. Yeah. These are for our main batches, and then these small tanks over here is where our brewer usually lives for all of our small batch releases.
Okay.
So it's cool because this is kind of like Ross's little area for the tap room only, and then this is like for the world over here.
And the biggest tanks you said are the everything rhymes.
Everything rhymes with orange, hop dough,
because that's the
hazer
biggest
beans.
one. Okay.
Exactly, all of our big ones.
Oh, I got it. The hazer. Okay.
We have a very small barrel age program over here.
Wow. Yeah. I think it just shows how massive this actually is.
Massive.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
Oh.
So we have a very small barrel age system. We don't do any barrel age experimentation sours because the use is very invasive, but we do a lot of rum and bourbon barrel aged stouts. We also have a barley wine coming. We did some apple brandy samples for our anniversary, which was really, really cool. We have some Blanton, some Willow Jane, some just a bunch of wild turkey, just some fun different bourbon barrels and everything like that, single use.
See, it's so impressive.
It is.
It's one thing to see something that is a bar or a pub, and that's the front, but this is all happening in the back. I mean, this is so different. So.
This little piece of equipment definitely has a huge factor in the fact that we're able to brew such high quality beer and our beer in such high amounts, because this is a centrifuge. Basically isomerizes all of our waste and then filters it, and allows us to get better hop yield with all of our ingredients and all of our better quality of beer. So this is a really important piece of equipment for our quality of our beer as well. Once the beer is done fermenting at the bottom of the tanks, we transfer them to the flat bottom tanks for a transfer. And we can now keg them off or through them on the canning line or anything like that through the hoses. So over here is our canning line. This is one of the biggest, I think it's one of the second or third or fourth largest in the world. It's from Italy. Don't quote me on that. But it's massive and it does a million things. This one is from Italy and it can do 12-ounce cans, 16-ounce cans, and 19-ounce 2.0 cans, which is super cool. It can do 100 cans per minute. And
100 cans per minute?
100 cans per minute.
Seeing that? Wow.
And it not only does it fill the cans up, but it will make sure it doesn't have any oxygen in them, and it'll also label and box them up for us as well. So this is very mighty. Our boys are on and Daring are on the canning line probably every single day.
Wow.
It is massive. All of these cans up here are empty. They're not full of beer.
Empty. Okay. Great.
And then I'll show you two more things.
Okay.
So we have two silos outside that hold our base malts. They hold a Pilsner malt and one of our Great Western malts I have on my beanie right now.
Okay.
But this is our secondary malt room where we take all of our malt for our other recipes, for our special releases, and then we auger it. It gets sent through the chain and then goes through our hot water tanks to start brewing the beer.
Yeah.
So this is really cool.
Okay.
You grab the, and then you open it.
Oh, okay.
You brew the beer. It goes all the way up through the ceiling and then starts brewing what you call wort soup. And then you start adding the hops, and then you add the yeast, and you do all the fun things. It's like baking.
That's great. I mean, baking on a massive scale.
It is. It is. Craft beer can get really nerdy, so it's important to like sometimes like break it down in like bro dude terms, you know, and not take it too serious.
Well, that's what I like. Is I mean, you guys actually know what you're talking about.
Yes.
I mean, this is, you know, you're perfecting the craft, have perfected the craft.
We are
selling
masters.
it, talking about it, and people's experience. I mean,
So this last award that we won for the best IPA, I have a little thing for it in my tap room, but our brewer, he was going to submit a different beer, but we kicked the keg of it, and so he put one of our releases across the finish line, and he finished brewing that beer, put it in a crowler off the line, and submitted it in the competition and won best IPA the same day. So that was really cool. It was just like total mastery. I think his ego kind of grew up a little bit. But over here too is just one more last little thing.
Okay.
This is a little peek into our little quality control lab.
Okay.
So this is what we do to test all of our off flavors for our beer and to make sure our beer is shelf stable and can last up to 4 to 8 months. I wouldn't drink any beer past 8 months, please. But this is for basically oxidation, DMS, yeast, anything that can get into your beer and ruin it. We can catch it with all of these testings.
Test it ahead of time.
And fix it before it becomes a problem.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Can I get this up?
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Of course. But no, I'm really proud of the place. What we're doing is really awesome.
Yeah.
We have a seltzer-based slushie. We have a seltzer on draft. We have OK cider on draft.
Oh, okay.
And we have all of our beers and some wine too. So
Cocktails and
the only thing that
mocktails.
we don't offer is liquor.
Yeah,
But
okay.
it's perfect for events because like corporate parties book with us and they know that no one's going to get like
too hammered.
horribly drunk, you
Yeah.
know. So it kind of works out that
Well,
way.
that's so interesting. So you're doing the. It looked like that was whiskey barrels, but then you're not actually selling that here.
No,
Am
so
I
that's for our
misunderstanding?
stouts. So we barrel
okay.
age our beers in those
That's
barrels.
for the beer.
They
Okay, I
sit
thought
in the
you were
barrels.
basically making whiskey. Like, okay, I got it.
So once they're done with the whiskey, once they're done with the, they send it to us, and then once that barrel is used for our stout blend, we barrel age it in that barrel for 6 to 12 months, and then that barrel's useless because you don't want to use it again, and then that's how you create barrel aged stouts,
Wow.
which is super, super cool. Kind of like coffee too, roasting coffee beans and all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
So.
that's great. All right, well, welcome to Community Connectors, Cambry. I appreciate you speaking with us today. So if I get this right, so Cambry, you are the experience and event manager at Roughtail Brewing in Oklahoma City currently. Is that right?
Yes, but I also recently just got promoted to director of Taproom Operations.
Yeah,
so
wonderful.
Super fun.
Wonderful. All right. Well, yeah. So, I mean, thank you for joining me on Community Connectors.
Very happy to be here.
And yeah, I mean, please just tell me a little bit about Roughtail Brewing.
Yes. So Roughtail Brewing is kind of like a beer brewery for the community. Roughtail has been around since 2013, basically. We just celebrated our 12th anniversary. Mm-hmm. And what's special about Roughtail is that it was built from the ground up from the homebrew community, Red Earth Homebrewers. Mm-hmm. And we are, I think, one of like 5 or 6 local breweries that came from that. And we are one of the top distributors of Oklahoma craft beer, top 3 of Oklahoma craft beer. I would say what makes Roughtail so special and what has made Roughtail what it is our flagship beer. Yeah. Everything rhymes with orange.
Okay.
That is kind of like our household name.
Yeah.
Where everyone goes, oh, Roughtail, I know Roughtail. I love Airwoe. I love everything rhymes with orange.
Yeah.
So we started in 2012, but we've hit the ground running really since 2020.
Okay, great. And did I hear that correctly? So you brew your own beer, but then you also have, you work kind of with local brewers, or home brewers, is that correct?
So what's really cool is that Oklahoma does have such a strong homebrew community.
Yeah.
And so we started off in the Red Earth homebrewer community, but Roughtail began with Tony Tielli and Blaine Stansel. They were 2 guys who had a dream. They wanted to make aggressive hoppy beer, kind of like Stone Brewing in California.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to start it in Texas, but then they ended up wanting to open up a spot in Oklahoma. So they opened up the brewery in Midwest City.
Yeah.
And so we started humble, started small.
Okay.
But in 2020, 21, we kind of built this entire building from the ground up. We installed all of the tanks, all of the glycol, all of the silos. Everything here is built from us, which is super cool.
Okay.
And we established our kitchen in probably 2022.
Okay.
And we've just always been relevant in the craft beer scene in Oklahoma, but the last couple of years reminded people that we are Oklahoma craft beer, and it's been really, really fun.
That's great.
Engaging with the community, and working with the other breweries.
Wonderful. And we were just speaking before, but could you tell me again, so how long have you worked with Roughtail?
So I've been with the company for almost 2 years now.
Okay, and what were you doing before then?
So I worked in the San Diego craft beer scene. I was hired kind of as a young buck 2 weeks after my 22nd birthday. I just knew that I wanted to do this industry. Started off with a brewery called Pizza Port, but then climbed the company ladder at a brewery called Pure Project in San Diego. Long story short, helped them open up 5 locations, learned several roles with them, and it kind of prepared me to be the role that I have with Roughtail here, Oklahoma craft beer.
That's great. And so, I mean, so how was it going from San Diego brewing to Oklahoma City, a very different scene? Could you just talk
a little bit of a culture shock.
Sure.
But what I really like about Oklahoma is the slower pace of life. And Oklahoma has had some tricky alcohol laws. If you lived here, you know that we're about 5 years behind any other state. We had a prohibition. We weren't able to even sell beer warm, or cold beer. It had to be warm. Weird stuff. But what I've noticed that is different from Oklahoma and California is the palate. California just wants IPAs and lagers, where Oklahoma really cares about like traditional beer styles and beer history, and they want the Irish red ales, they want the ambers, they want the more malt forward beer that tastes like beer. They don't care about the hazy IPA. I mean, they still do, but there is a very, educated traditional beer drinker in Oklahoma. They care about the styles and the history behind the beer, which is really exciting.
Yeah, and do you find that a lot of that comes from the knowledge of like the people that are doing homebrew, so they already know a little bit about it, or do you think just the community here does a good job of educating the people before they come in, or what do you think?
It's because craft beer grew, and then we had the alcohol laws, and then Oklahoma kind of followed suit to the point where we still have people really excited about craft beer, and so we still have new breweries popping up, but we still have breweries closing. We do have the most active home brewery in Oklahoma, homebrew scene in Oklahoma. And so I think that is why breweries have so much success in Oklahoma as well. We've done events in Texas and Arkansas, and people are like, dude, the Oklahoma craft beer scene is killer. And so coming from the West Coast to here in the Midwest, it's really cool. I wasn't aware of what I was getting into. I wasn't aware of how good the beer would be, and Oklahoma is damn good beer.
Okay. Well, that's great. That's great. Well, so, one thing that really stood out to us when we were taking a look at Roughtail and for this interview was, I would say that Roughtail Brewing is not what I would consider a typical craft beer location or space. And what I mean by that is that, you have events every week. I mean, it just, what is there? I saw something here that I thought, Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering.
By our brewers.
Is coming. You've got, definitely, I think I saw like bingo nights, some other.
Board game nights.
Yeah, board game nights. So could you talk about, why did Roughtail decide to, I guess, be a little bit different, to have events, to be kind of a little bit more community space as opposed to just, we are amazing at beer, this is amazing beer, and you can come and drink the beer. So.
I think our location had a lot to do with it. We are based in Oklahoma City, but technically more in like the Edmond area. So we do service a lot of like the families and the people that just want to get out of the house without like going to the city. We also have an incredibly inviting and welcoming space with really comfortable big tables that you can sit and play board games with. And we also have a kitchen too. So like you know that you're going to have yummy food whenever you come to our brewery. And so events like trivia and bingo singo, we collaborate with Hoot. We have a great relationship with Hoot. Our trivia night here on Thursdays, once it's 7:30, we're full. We have a line out the door, basically. It's a great place to spend your Thursday night. Friday nights, we pair with the Oklahoma Board Game Association. That's an incredible partnership that we have. Our brewers do Magic the Gathering. Our brewers do it every Tuesday with the community, which is so super, super fun. We want to do a book club eventually. It's because we have the space, we have the availability, we have the parking, parking. We have the TVs to play the football. We have the high quality beer to match it. We purposely keep our beer cheap because we know that you're going to come and get a cheeseburger and sit and stay a while and go get another one. So I think we're smart. I think in today's world, this is a very like long-winded answer, but like in today's world, you need to be very aware of the scene that we're in.
Yeah.
Because it has changed and craft beer is so overly saturated. There's a brewery on every corner. You need to do more than just have a good product. You need to resonate with the community. You need to do stuff that the community enjoys and give them something to do and out of the house. We've worked with a lot of charities and donated a lot of our dollar of pours to Ales for ALS and a lot of fun things like that too. So it's just super important that you have stuff for the beer drinkers, but for the people who also hang out with the beer drinkers. Like my Lucre tap that is capable of doing 6 different beer pours is impressive, but not everyone's going to care about that. They just want the slushie that's right behind it, you know? So you have to have both in order to survive.
Yeah,
you have to. They're equally as important.
I don't know, you probably can't see it in the shot, but there's a children's area over there, which I think is really fascinating.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I think it shows just kind of the family or community nature. Again, this is a
we are
place
a brewery.
to drink amazing
We're not
beer.
a bar.
Right. It's not, exactly. And so I thought it was really fascinating. And, you know, I don't know that most breweries have a community manager, right? So it seems like, you know, that itself was unique, right?
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I think it is important to kind of focus on your ethos. Our ethos here is craft culture and community. You know, being a brewery on a Saturday, getting out of the house on a Saturday and having your kids come and color while you sit and drink a beer. Like we're family friendly in that way, you know, but it's just like we're a place for the people. You know, we're a place for the people to get out of the house and hang out and watch some football, you know. So.
See, and that's something I really wanted. I always like to ask during these interviews is, what do you think it takes to run a successful community space in the year 2025? And what I mean by that is, you know, what does it take to basically get people off the couch, off the phone, and into a place where other people are? I mean, what do you think it takes?
That's a really good question. I have learned time and time again what events resonate and which events don't work. For example, we've learned that higher quality events versus quantity events are a lot better. We do a very successful book fair twice a year with the Edmund Best of Books. And that is a huge event with the book fair. We do a successful plant swap, and now we're thinking about doing the plant swap twice a year because people love that so much and it brings in so many people for the community. We've done paint nights here and there. We've done little things like that, but those things work better probably for people who have more foot traffic and they're involved in the city. So if I have something going on every single day, my regulars are going to get annoyed too.
Oh, interesting.
You know, so it's the balance and that push and pull of still being a brewery, but also like being an event center second. Like I always say, we're a brewery first, we're an event center second, but we offer all of these things for a great time. And you can do your event as casually or as fancy as you want. Like we even do wedding receptions. Like I've hosted several wedding receptions here. Or baby showers, you know, and it's just been so fun.
Well, and I wanted to ask about that too, because I noticed that this room that we're in actually gets rented out, like you were saying, for events, for baby showers, etc. I mean, are there any, I don't know, I guess I would say not horror stories, but bad experiences with doing that, and also good experiences with doing that, or what have you found works for having an event space and you know, something that you're not in control of what the event necessarily is going to be, but you do have a space for members or for people to use. What have been some goods and bads in it?
Dude, that's a really great question, because, you know, being a brewery that does events too, most of the clientele that comes to a brewery are really laid back. And I would say 80% of our people are really laid back. But when you have that 20% who spent a lot of money and they want their event, if they want their wedding, they want to be taken care of, you know, too. So I think it is really interesting because you do have to be very transparent about what you offer. And the way that we set up our event bookings is, I think, the reason why we are successful within our events, because we make it very easy. I just send you send me an email with the date that you want. I send you a Google form that you fill out. You submit the Google form. It goes over all of our details and expectations for you. And then I put you on my Google Calendar. We also don't have any hidden costs or anything like that. We don't charge for the space. Everything is based off of a minimum spend. And we want people basically just, if they're in our event space, using our event space on a Tuesday night where we shut the doors, that they're just drinking beer and that they're ordering food.
Yeah.
Buyouts obviously are priced different because if we are closing down our space, we want
where you're
you rent out everything. We want to make sure that we would be making what we would make if we were open to the public. So those do have different minimum spends, but still we are one of the cheapest event venues out there because all of these event costs don't go towards these random stupid things. They go to supporting a local brewery and they go to the tips for the bar staff and the catering staff, and it's just supporting a local brewery by ordering a $2,000 catering tab and doing a $1,500 drink tab, and then boom, 20%. You have a great time. You just show up and you have me cutting your cake and giving you happy birthday, you know?
Yep.
So I would say the horror story would just be doing a baby shower and saying, hey guys, you guys do need to drink some beer.
Yes.
That's why the minimum spend is a thing.
It's part of that.
Because if you are in our room, we just want you to spend and hang out with us and enjoy like you would.
Yeah.
You know, we're very casual and chill about it.
That's great. So one thing that we often discuss on the show is that there is, some community spaces are very much about like what I would consider the resource, kind of the what brings people in for themselves. Like in this case, it would be, really great beer, right? Or really great local beer. For other places, it might be, 3D printers or books or something like that. And then there's the other aspect, which is kind of like the community, connecting with other people, a place for people to gather. In your opinion, which of those is kind of more important for a place like this? Or are they just both important? What do you think is kind of a...
Both are important because if we didn't focus so much on our events the last 2 years, we wouldn't have been able to grow as much as we have, because there's still several people who drive past our big, beautiful building every single day and don't even realize that we have a kitchen on site.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is that when I do these big buyouts or I do these company corporate events, and I'm working with Paycom, I'm working with, these big companies, that they are bringing in people who have never even thought to step foot into a brewery.
Yeah.
And they come in here and they order a glass of wine first, or they're asking for a cocktail and we don't have a cocktail. Yeah. And you go, I'm so sorry, but I have this. Then they let loose a little bit, and then they get curious, and then they start drinking some beer after they had their seltzer and they had some wine, and then now they're here every Tuesday. So what's really, really cool about us being a brewery but also an event center is that when we do have these events, they bring in all these people who never would have thought to come in here, and now we're their new local watering hole. So we have a very large holiday party season, and I have at least 5 events on my calendar that are 100 plus people, and I know that come December, I have 500 people coming to Roughtail who probably have never even stepped foot in this building before. Yeah. So that is where it is important to focus on events as a brewery. If you are a brewery that is struggling out there and you have a beautiful location and you're not doing events, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, sometimes we think like events, events are ways to connect the community and sometimes almost marketing.
It is marketing. It's word of mouth. The reason why I have done so many events with the company is because we have a killer taco bar and people are like, oh, I had a taco bar at that birthday party. I want a taco bar at my birthday party. Let's go to Roughtail. So we've marketed, but our marketing budget isn't that big. I'm the marketing budget.
Sure. Yeah, got it. Okay, well, so let me ask this. So what would you say, what benefits do people find or experience basically when they decide to make a place like Roughtail kind of their third place? Like you said, they come in for an experience, for an event, and then they start to show up every week or every few weeks. I mean, something is bringing them back. Something, what benefit is there to somebody that, really kind of makes this like their third place?
Definitely our team that we have that comes in every single day and represents the brewery with pride, our brewer who brews the highest quality of beer, our owner who inspires our staff to continue what we're doing, our bartenders who get the Yelp reviews of being the most friendly and knowledgeable in town. Yeah. It is definitely not just me doing this all, it is our brilliant team that we have all working together that are all like-minded and passionate, coming to work every single day. I always say we are a glorified beer and burger shop. It's not brain surgery over here, So I think not taking yourself too seriously too is really important when you offer craft beer. Offering a fresh product every 2 weeks. We have an incredible executive chef here who does a weekly food special. So our regulars who come in every single week know that they're going to have a new food item to try, and they're going to have fresh beer every 2 weeks. So I think that's really important. Coming in and knowing your bartender who knows your name, who knows your beer order, who is excited to see you and talk beer with you. Yeah. I think that is something that's really important. I've gone to places and been excited about craft beer and been given cold service, especially in San Diego. And I'm like, whoa, like I just wanted to talk to you about beer. Like, why are you mad at me? That won't happen at Roughtail. You know, we're excited to serve you and talk to you about it, you know?
Yeah, it's funny. I keep hearing, it's kind of like, you know, people always come for the resource. Like almost nobody goes to a place thinking, I'm going to join a community. I mean, but unless you get brought by a friend, and that's different. But like people go to, you know, a brewery to any place, and they kind of want the resource, a gym, right? But then like, man, you know, you meet one friend, you know, or you get along with like a few of the people, or you just like the vibe, and it seems like that. It deepens the connection.
Then they're here every Thursday for trivia.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so fun.
So
we get annoyed when our regulars are like haven't come in for a bit. We're like, hey, where have you been? I know you're gonna like this beer.
That's great. That's great. Okay, and so there's one other question I wanted to ask you, which was, you know, we tend to find that some community spaces are about kind of the why, like the founders' why did they do it? And then others are more about like the who, which is you know, who is this here for? Who are we here for? You know, at Roughtail, what would you say? Do you think it's, you know, this place is driven more kind of like by the why of the founders, or more kind of like the who you serve? What do you think?
Very interesting. I think both in that way, because craft beer was established. I mean, Roughtail was established wanting to be a big craft beer giant. And I would say as we've grown and as we have kind of gotten our credibility within the community with the awards that we've won recently for our best Pilsner, our best IPA, with all these local things, we've kind of shifted our ethos being, okay, now we know that we're an Oklahoma brewery. Let's be the best Oklahoma brewery. And now let's be the brewery that people travel into when they want to try Oklahoma craft beer.
Yeah.
And so I think that is something that we've really focused on. And that's a big reason why we focus so much on our quality of customer service, food, and events too, because we want people to know that if they've traveled in here and they've heard good things, that their experience is going to be consistent, every single time. And so I think being a beer giant and focusing on that ethos and making sure that we are upholding ourselves to that standard. I hold our bartenders to a higher standard when it comes to like learning about the beer or like wiping a menu down, because it is the difference between like a little luxury hotel and a Motel 6. We love Motel 6, they keep the lights on.
Sure.
You know, I love a good dive bar here every once in a while, but that's why the community comes back, is because of the details and the consistency and the quality and attention to product.
Oh, that's great. And you know, just again, kind of, you know, going back to the community aspect, you know, communities are made up of all different types of people, but is there a typical member of this place, you know, a typical type of person that just really likes to come here? What do you think? Yeah,
so we are definitely a part of like the Edmond community for sure. And I would say our bulk of our clientele would be probably people in their 30s and 40s. We do get some of the younger clientele, but we aren't near a lot of the colleges and we're a little bit out of the city. So we are a great place when the people don't want to go to the city and they want to relax a little bit and go to Roughtail and stuff like that too. We actually have a lot of families that come through and a lot of women that come through and enjoy.
You were mentioning, what were you saying? Something in arm wrestling?
So yes, one of my big community events is I'm getting all the breweries together, because we don't compete with the local breweries. We raise them up because we want all the craft breweries to survive, because if we all survive, people are drinking beer, and that's wonderful. But what we're doing is a charity event for the Women's Foundation, the YMCA, I'm trying to remember, but they're incredible, and we are doing a ladies in craft beer arm wrestling competition. And we have 12 breweries signed up, and they're all the big ones. Big Friendly, Stone Cloud, American Anthem, Frenzy, like we're even doing Red Earth Homebrewers. It's gonna be a huge raise a pint, raise money, raise some hell. It's going to be so much fun.
That sounds great. That sounds great.
September 9th, Tuesday. I don't know if this will be out before
this
then.
will probably be after, but that's fine. That's fine.
You'll hear about it.
We might be able to cut you a short or something before, just to let you know, but we'll let people know. Okay, so I did want to ask this. So, you know, clearly Roughtail has done a great job of like having a lot of events, getting people in the space, making it, you know, have a community vibe to it, while pairing it with just amazing beer, right? So, you know, if you could give any piece of advice, you kind of already were earlier, but to maybe there's another brewery, or maybe there's a coffee shop, maybe there's, you know, where you have a really high quality product, like people come in and they are the coffee drinkers, they love coffee, you know, or they really love the beer, but you're trying to give it more of like a community vibe, you know. It maybe feels a little bit too like transactional, Any advice you would give to them? Where could they start?
My advice would be to operate with your establishment with a higher standard of the craft product, but also to not operate in a pretentious way, and to remain inviting and to remain as a comfortable space. Because if I have someone coming and ordering a seltzer slushie, I'm not going to put my nose at them. But if I have a beer nerd who wants to nerd out with me with my Lucre tap, I'm going to be excited to talk to them about that and what that beer style is and what yeast it is too. So I think it's important to take yourself seriously and hold yourself to a standard, but not have that pretentious quality and to not overkill the jargon, because you want to remain accessible to everyone, not just the select few. I also think focusing on community events that people resonate with. One of the easiest things that we can do on our board is dedicate a beer to charity. And so Ales for ALS, every keg or every 4-pack, $1 or $2 or $2 of every single pour will get donated to that event. So you come in here and you don't know what beer to pour, you don't know what beer to order. That one's going to a good cause. You can feel good about it. And so people are really resonating when we do certain events like that. People care about that. They know that their money's going to a place that cares about it going to good things. Pure Project Brewing, where I worked at in San Diego, was an eco-friendly brewery. And we had a strong ethos in that, where Roughtail is a beer giant, but we also focus so much on high quality and culture and craft beer culture, And I think that is something that you need to focus on is yes, you can have a niche, but you need to be welcoming and you need to have something for the people who don't probably want the IPA. They're gonna drink the wine, But also I don't know, it's so important to have that standard, but to be adaptable and to adapt to everyone. I mean, it sounds like you're saying also, you have your specialty, and you know what, the beer nerd is going to come in here and love it, and they're gonna feel like, this is my home. This You're checking off all their boxes.
But when they bring their friends and family, they don't feel excluded because they are not beer nerds, right? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes. So I had a Yelp review the other night. So I come from Denver. This is what a brewery would feel like if I was in Denver. Or Everything Rhymes with Orange reminds me of the Treehouse IPA from Chicago. Those are some of the best compliments ever, because the craft beer culture is dying. And I call it craft beer missionary work. We want to keep it alive. And so we foster in keeping it alive and converting new people to craft beer. There's something out there for everyone. If you don't like stouts, you haven't tried the right one. If you don't like that beer style, then try again. Everything Rhymes with Orange is the biggest gateway IPA out there. You haven't had this IPA, it's welcoming, it'll give you a little hug. Come on in.
That's great. That's great. And then I'd just like you to just kind of imagine that you're speaking to yourself 5 years ago, or to somebody that's kind of in your spot 5 years ago, and knowing what you now know, having run successful events, having transitioned all these different things. Is there any advice you would give to your 5 years ago self, or somebody that's kind of in your position? Just anything like that.
No, that's really cool. So I joined craft beer at the bright age of 22. And I was with Pure Project, where we started with one location and then we opened up 5 locations. And so within that role, I was climbing all the ladders that I could possibly climb, but I was also in the most competitive beer scene out there in San Diego with over 200 plus. I was the baby. I was the youngest on my team, and I was going to get there one day. But once I hit 5 years with my company, with Pure Project, me and my husband recently got married, and we had the opportunity to move out of California and go to Oklahoma, and I was like, well, I really want a career in craft beer. I'm very curious if I can transfer what I did, and ended up doing craft beer in Oklahoma. So how I ended up with Roughtail is also in San Diego. I was part of the education team, so working towards certified Cicerone and beer judge and everything like that too. So I sent a very passionate email to all the breweries in Oklahoma, basically saying, this is what I want to do for my chosen career. I'm going towards certified Cicerone. I want to be an event coordinator. I want to do this. I want to focus on everything. Tony took a chance on me, and we basically built this role and kind of built and created this whole thing. And luckily, he is a numbers guy, and the numbers have been numbering, and the math has been mathing, and Roughtail has been doing really amazing things. And I think from my experience coming from a best brewery in San Diego, I was able to join the company at like the most perfect time, saying you are doing so many things right. Here's a list of things that you could be doing better. Let's get a slushie machine. Let's get some couches in here. Let's get some football on the TVs. You know, like let's elevate this place for the community. And so what's really cool is because I've always wanted a career in this field. And becoming a getting out of the tip pool in this industry is really hard. And getting a salary position in this world is really hard. And if you're a manager, that's where you go to die in any bar or craft restaurant or anything like that too. So to be able to become a director of taproom operations is something that I've always wanted, something that I've always had a goal to do. And it is validating to sit across this with you because it is recent that I have been able to make these things. I recently got a recognized beer judge certification. I'm working towards certified beer cicerone and everything like that too. So I am someone who is like deeply passionate about what I'm doing. And it's really cool because Roughtail is doing really well. And it's not because of me, but it's because of the team and the people and the environment, everything that we're doing. And it's because of the brilliance by committee that craft beer is. And so my advice for Cambry was, yes, you were closing every single Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You spent your 20s with your head down, working craft beer, learning about craft beer, but it prepared you to run one of the best breweries in Oklahoma and have a hand in running the best brewery in Oklahoma. And I'm going to pat myself on the back for that because
that's great.
We really did steer the ship and kept the wheels turning when I came in. And they asked me, hey, what should we do? I said, you want me to say it? And they said, yes. I'd go, let's go.
Do you really want to know what you need to do?
So I'm the place. I'm really proud of the place. And I'm really happy to be here. And this is my chosen career.
That's great.
So
that's great. So for people who want to know more about Roughtail Brewing, how should they find out more about you? You know, anything like that. How can people experience it?
You can find Roughtail anywhere when it comes to Kansas, Texas, and Missouri. When it comes to some distribution of like the big local liquor stores like Total Wines and Homelands and Walmarts and Costco's. So keep your eye out for everything rhymes with orange on a shelf or Roughtail beer on taps for your local bar because most places in Oklahoma and Texas, we have an incredible sales team named Carlos. So check us out. Even if you don't like IPAs and you've sworn off IPAs, you haven't tried everything rhymes with orange yet. Try it. You know? So that's what I would recommend. And then if you also used to come into Roughtail in our old Midwest City days, I used to come in a couple years ago. You haven't been in a while, come in and check us out. We have 2 new murals. We have 3 new couches. We have fresh new beer. Everyone that walks in kind of goes, wow, when they first walk in here and they haven't been here in a while. So that's what I recommend. Just support local, support your other local breweries around you. That's the most important thing.
That's great. Well, Cambry, thank you so much for the interview, for speaking to us on Community Connectors. And I really appreciate it. I mean, best of luck in your new role. And
thank you.
Looks like you've done just an amazing job here. So.
Incredibly passionate.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
But incredibly thankful that you guys saw what we were doing and wanted to help us shout it out to the world.